Africa Climate Summit in Addis Ababa, which is in its last day today, where sustainable transport took center stage. The Association for Sustainable Mobility in Africa hosted a high-level panel looking at how the continent can move towards cleaner, more inclusive, and better connected transport systems, from financing solutions to regional integration and a just transition. Now, the discussions offered a roadmap for Africa's mobility future, and joining us to unpack the highlights is Linda Alliali Ehui, who's chairperson of the Association of Sustainable Mobility in Africa. Thank you very much indeed for joining us, and welcome to the program, Linda.
Hello, so thank you for having me.
So let's begin with this. Can you share what inspired your association to dedicate a panel specifically to sustainable transport at the Africa Climate Summit this year?
Thank you for that. We set up this association in January 2025, so it's really a new project, new initiative from some African citizen, young African person. At the beginning, it was two women, me and my friend Cassandra. We find that it was really useful to address that subject, knowing that transport is part of 20% of the emission now. And so if you want to tackle climate change and consequences in Africa, it can be really useful to take the angle of the transport. So ASMAFRICA is dedicated to address the question of sustainable question of the transport and mobility in Africa and all sorts of transports, maritime, aviation, railway, roads, urban mobility and rural mobility. And we begin by trying to find where we come from, what happened, what's our challenge and our opportunities, and what we can do now for that evolution and the development of that sustainable transport. They decided that to write a white paper. So around us, we gathered about 20 experts now, and this group reunited twice a week now since April, working on this white paper to figure out how we come from and how we can develop that sustainable transport in Africa. So ACS2 was really a beautiful platform for us, joining all African people in the African Union in Addis Ababa, and open the discussion there, put the subject on the table and have this conversation that we do not often have on the multimodal side. It was a good window for us to introduce our work, and we decided to take the issue these points through the opportunities lens. We don't want to talk about the risk because we talk always about the risk in Africa. So we decided to, for once, talk about the opportunities that the sustainability and this transition and adaptation to the climate change can bring to Africa today and in the future. And it was a really beautiful windows and setup for us to be there, having the first day of the opening ceremony and having all those experts from Climate Champion Team and African Union head of African Commission division with us. So yes, it was a beautiful window to bring that subject there and speak about that.
You mentioned this white paper on sustainable mobility in Africa. What are the central messages or recommendations that listeners should look out for, especially as the full report launches at COP30?
You will, what you can expect about our white paper? It will, as we said, go back to history. We really want to understand where do you come from? Where do we come from? We know, I know that for knowing where you want to go, you want to know where you come from. And as African, we have to understand how the transport system has been built and how it's come from and what we have inherited of to understand what we can improve. So we decided to go in a white paper will be in 5 chapters with the history of each transport, what was done in the past, what is done today, and what can be done in the future will be seen in the chapter 2 with the challenges we face, and in chapter 3, how we can level up these challenges into opportunities for our continent, for our youth. And then the last chapter will be about our advocacy and address to the public sector, government, institution, also private sector, the financing sector, and all the citizens who are interested about those questions. We would like to advocate about that all the question of transport should be seen now on an inclusive way, integrated transport and sustainable, so we can preserve our next generation, preserve our resources, and allow the African to move themselves and the goods across all the continent, from the north to the south, from the east to the west, and become to trade more between us and travel between us also. So mainly we think about that in the white paper, and you will discover that, as we said, at COP30, we will be also beautiful platform for us to show and raise the voice of African, show the expertise of African also, and explain the African solution can have.
Linda, we're going to have to leave it there. Unfortunately, we've run out of time, but thank you so much indeed for joining us and sharing these important thoughts with us.
Thanks a lot for having me again. I'm really happy to be on the show today. And hello, South Africa. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's Linda Alliali Ehui, who's the chairperson of the Association for Sustainable Mobility in Africa.